शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः। यश्रेयस्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे। शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। This is an important verse because there is the surrender of who? Arjuna unto. Did somebody say Bhishma? I hope not. Okay. Otherwise, see me after class. So, Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. Important verse because it is marking an important moment, not just in the Bhagavad Gita, but in everybody's quest. In all our quest, the moment of recognizing, like I said yesterday, like we had remarked yesterday. What had we remarked? We had talked about how he understood, Arjuna understood that this was a sorrow that even ruling over all the three worlds could not remove. Having the glory of all the three worlds would not remove this sorrow. And also having an unrivaled kingdom on earth itself, where everything was handed to him in a platter, would also not remove this sorrow. He was perplexed because he didn't know where this sorrow came from. And it was triggered. See, there is a difference between the cause of the sorrow and the moment or the series of events that lead to the triggering of the sorrow. There is a difference between a cause and a trigger. What is the difference? The cause of sorrow means what is the reason why the sorrow exists. Trigger means I recognize that the sorrow exists, but then in certain situations it appears to come out, get activated. That is what is called trigger. So here we find that he stops blaming Dhritarashtra's children. He stops blaming the fate, his horoscope, or the destiny, the collective destiny, that it has led to this kind of a war. He stops blaming even himself. What's wrong with me that I am fighting my own cousins and brethren? He stops blaming himself. And then the mind has enough space to see that this sorrow is an interloper. Interloper means somebody who has come without permission. This sorrow is an interloper, a masquerader of sorts. How did it come? Where did it come from? And it's important to note that he owns up the sorrow. He says, yeah, right now it is belonging to me. Why? Because I am the one experiencing it, not Duryodhana. Duryodhana is not experiencing it. Duryodhana doesn't have a spiritual epiphany. Epiphany means some kind of a wake-up call. an aha moment, like, yes, this is what it is. And it's Arjuna who has this, because Arjuna has dharma, Arjuna tells the truth, Arjuna is innocent, not touched by all these manipulative, scheming ways of the Dhritarashtra's children. And so that is why Arjuna has a certain kind of a understanding. And right now, this is the understanding that is important. Like, how come I find myself subject to sorrow? Number one. Number two, or you can replace the word sorrow with fear also. Replace the word sorrow with fear, anxiety, anything. So how come I find myself subject to grief? Number one. Number two, this grief is activated by this particular situation. And what is the situation here? The wartime situation. He is having to enter into a war for which he hadn't signed up. And he did not want. And then suddenly he finds himself just caught in this, between a rock and a hard place, between the frying pan and the fire. Both the choices seem terrible. He's caught in a dilemma, he doesn't know how to overcome it. So then, that's the second point, he acknowledges and owns up the sorrow. First he understands there is sorrow, that he is experiencing it, then he owns up the sorrow, and then he understands this sorrow is not going to be removed by either adding something to my life or subtracting something from my life. What would he add to his life? He would add victory, Rajya, to his life. Is that going to make him happy? He says no. Maybe subtracting all the annoying beings like the 100 cousins. Poof, bye-bye. Is that going to make him happy? No. He recognizes that this sorrow is an internal problem, and whether I add to something which I have or I subtract from something that I have, it's not going to make a difference. This is number 3. And that's why he says, I don't know what to do. Nacha etad vidmaha katarat naha gariyaha. Which is better for us, we don't know. Yadva jayema, yadiva no jayeguhu. Whether it's better for us to vanquish them or better for them to overpower and just dismiss us. We don't know. And so, I am leaving it in your hands. I am a Shishya, I am your Shishya, and whatever is Shreya. Shreyas means absolute happiness. Absolute happiness, which is moksha, is called Shreyas, the most exalted end in life, to be gained not after death, but right here, right now. So that itself is Shreyas. Yat Shreyah syat nishtitam bruhi tatme. Nishtitam means don't just be diplomatic. Lord Krishna is famous for being diplomatic. So don't be diplomatic, don't do your regular thing, don't do your regular number on me. Tell me definitely what is the best thing for me. And this is a very good thing, because number 4, after these 3 realizations, the 4th realization is seeking the help of a master, seeking the help of a guru, because I can't solve this myself. No matter how much I add or how much I subtract, this sorrow ain't going to go. So therefore, what should I do? I should talk to somebody who knows. So, Shishya te aham. The word Shishya, Arjuna's use of the word Shishya here stands out, because there are many words that talk about the person who is interested in knowledge. One such thing is called Vidyarthi. Vidyarthi, the one who wants knowledge. Vidyarthi could be just wanting any knowledge, doesn't matter, correct? And then could not be full time also, could be just during the class, like biology Vidyarthi during biology class sits, takes notes, goes home. That's it. And then similarly, sociology Vidyarthi attends sociology class and then goes back home. Usually university students are called Vidyarthis. School children are called Vidyarthis. There is not much connection between the knowledge and a kind of a transformation that it does on them. Then the other word is called Antevasin. Antevasin, sadly and wrongly translated as inmate. Ashram inmate. The word inmate makes it feel like what? Zenitentiary. Okay, yeah, not penitentiary. So it makes it feel like a punishment. Inmate means I can't go out. Oh no, I am locked in the ashram. That kind of a feeling. So Antevasin is not inmate, even though it's frequently translated like that. What it means is that somebody who stays with the Guru in the ashram and studies. But again, they may not have the qualifications. They may just stay there for years on end without understanding anything. Like who? Indra and Virochana. They went to Prajapati's ashram and stayed there for 33 years. What did they do? Other than eat and drink, we don't know. Yeah, they just stayed there. Usually, the student has to approach the teacher and say, I have come for this purpose. But here, the teacher, after seeing them for 33 years, decides to have a talk and say, gentlemen, why are you here? What are you doing here? And then they say, oh yeah, that. Yeah, 33 years ago, 34 years ago, we heard you say, Atma apahata papma. This Atma is free of papa. And we have come to find out more about that. So you can see the nature of the mumukshutvam is just this little flickering mumukshutvam ready to commit suicide at any time. And so Antevasin does not guarantee that one will gain the knowledge. But the word Shishya is special. Its derivation is Shikshana Yogya. The one who is worthy of teaching, of receiving the teaching. That one who is worthy of receiving the teaching is called what? Shishya. And here he describes himself as, I'm ready for this. I'm sick of trying to manage this all on my own. I give up. And that giving up is surrender. Otherwise one is trying to keep on, do some patchwork, do some second guessing, do some kind of a solution within a solution, as though solution. Here there is no solution. One sees that I really need help. And the one who is intelligent enough to seek help is a Shishya. And so here he says, Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. I have surrendered to you. And then he says also one more thing, that I don't know how this sorrow is going to be removed. I have no way to remove this sorrow. I am relying on you for this. And then Sanjaya comes and fills in the blanks. Sanjaya uvacha eva muktva hrishikesham gudakeshaf parantapa nayotsya iti govindam uktva tushnim babhuvaha. Then he decides to say one final thing. He is spent, because 1.5 chapters he is only talking. It's supposed to be a samvada, teacher should talk. Here who is talking? Student has talked for 1.5 chapters, And he already said, Mukham cha parishushyati, I'm having dehydration and dry mouth. And so he's all spent. He has cried himself out. No tears are left. Only fears and sorrows are there. And then Sanjaya, introducing the next verse, he says one more thing. So, Gudakesha. Gudakesha means the person who Gudakayaha Ishaha. Gudaka is the goddess of sleep. Gudaka. So, the Lord of sleep. Oh, that means he was sleeping all the time? No. He could sleep just for 2 minutes and then wake up and feel very refreshed. He could pull 3 or 4 all-nighters without having any problems. He could also sleep standing up like a horse. No problem. This was a gift to him by Gudaka Devi, and so Gudakayaha Ishaha. Gudaka Devi did not overpower him, just like she overpowers all the jivas. All the jivas come under her spell and go like this, but not Arjuna. Just like Bhishma had the boon, what was Bhishma's boon? Yeah. So here it was Swa-ichha, sleep. Yeah, the sleep was in his hands. So Gudakesha, this Gudakesha said to Hrishikesha. Very nice alliteration here. Hrishikesha, Hrishikanam Ishaha. Hrishikanam, Hrishika means sense organs. The master of the sense organs, Lord Krishna, was told by the sleep master, who is what? Arjuna. And what did he say? Nayotsye, I am not gonna fight. You can't make me. I am not gonna fight. Why? Because I have given up. I have surrendered to you. I don't want to fight. I am not going to fight. Make this battle go away. Do something. I don't want this. And then iti uktva, having made this final decision not to fight, tushnim babhuva. Tushnim babhuva means sat down quietly. Just became quiet, stopped talking. And then what happened? Then there was a little bit of inroad for Lord Krishna, right? Before this, there was no place for Lord Krishna at all. Even to say one word, there was no place. In between 2 words, there was of Arjuna, there was no place for the Lord to talk at all. And so he had to wait. And now he saw a little opening, and then he's going to say, and then Sanjaya continues. Tamuvacha Hrishikeshaha Prahasanniva Bharata Senayorubhayor madhye Vishidantam idam vachaha. Yeah. So Hrishikesha, the Lord Krishna, tam uvacha, said unto him, prahasan iva, as though laughing. Yeah. Lord Krishna, here this fellow is crying, Lord Krishna is laughing. Not appropriate, correct? Yeah. If supposing somebody comes to you and say, I'm in the middle of a terrible doldrum and I'm having depression, I'm having upset, and the person you go to starts laughing, what do you feel like doing to them? Yeah. You feel like doing things you don't even want to think about. Yeah. Feel like cuffing them. Yeah. How dare you laugh at me? Here, my predicament is this, I am telling you and you are laughing at me. But here, Lord Krishna gets the license, the celestial license to laugh. Why? How? Because let us just come back and see what transpired before. He already said, I am your Shishya. Before what he had said, you are my friend, you are my mentor. That is, whether he said it or not, that's what he regarded Lord as. He didn't regard the Lord as a guru. So, the response of a friend, this is Lord Krishna's reaction here must not be emulated by everybody who is trying to console their friend. Okay? Because if you did this, you will no longer have a friend. Guaranteed. So, for the person who is sad, you must not laugh in their face. These are all basic rules of communal living. Second, which Lord Krishna is going to tell now, you should also not tell them don't be sad. Because if you tell a sad person don't be sad, are they going to oblige? No. But here Lord Krishna does both and gets away with it also. How? Because it is no longer a dialogue between two friends, where one friend is having what is called pratipaksha bhava, putting themselves into the other person's shoes and saying, yeah, this is a terrible thing, I can see why you are so sad, and those Duryodhana etc. are wretched people etc. That's a different thing. Here, it is not a dialogue between equals any longer. It's a dialogue, samvada, between who? Teacher and student. And then in the teaching situation, this is allowed. Definitely this is allowed, because otherwise the teaching dialogue, the dialogue between Shishya, Guru and Shishya has to look different. Otherwise what's the point if it looks the same? It cannot look the same. Yes, the teacher might console in certain situations, like we'll see tonight in the Viveka Chudamani, but generally speaking, here the teacher takes a high road. High road means the most elevated marga, the most elevated road of starting the teaching with a big bang, not waiting, not going gradually. Yes, A for Atma, B for Brahman, C for Chit, D for Dharma. No, didn't go from ABCD Vedanta, went straight to PhD level. Why? Because Arjuna was ready. Because Arjuna was ready, and Arjuna had already been upbraided earlier in a friendly way. Where did this kalmasha come from? This is not the Arjuna I know. Why are you doing this? Pick yourself up. All these things were told. Correct? Yeah. So here he is telling something very interesting. And what for he is laughing, we can only conjecture. Remember, the word laughing, prahasan, present continuous, prahasan means laughing. The word laughing is followed by the word as though, iva. Prahasan, iva. As though laughing. Maybe he was not really laughing, maybe he was smiling. Why was he smiling? Oh, thank God he has finally come to his senses and asked for this knowledge. What a wonderful moment. Maybe he is feeling thrilled that Arjuna is going to get moksha. Naturally, with a teacher like Krishna, who will not get moksha? So, maybe he is responding to that. Or maybe this knowledge is always given with a smile. Even for it to be believable, it has to be given with a smile. If I said like this, you are also Ananda, and the Upanishad says, I am also Ananda. We are all Ananda. Is that going to have an effect? No. The teacher should, because the teacher is non-separate from the knowledge, that should show. If the teacher comes like this, Vedanta means I should not have any reactions at all. For everything the same reaction. You have won the lottery. Okay. Your wife died. Okay. This is not what it's all about. There is a lightness of being. Brahmavit, Brahmaiva bhavati. The knower of Brahman is non-separate from Brahman. This you cannot say with any other branch of knowledge. The knower of microbiology, let's say professor of microbiology, teaching for 3 decades, doesn't come into the classroom in the form of a kida, microbe. Yeah, because he or she has become one with the teachings of microbiology. No. Teacher of botany doesn't come in the form of a tree and sit in the class. No. The subject matter in any other branch of knowledge will always be separate from the person teaching it, except in Vedanta Shastra. In Vedanta Shastra, one is already Brahman. Brahman means Ananda. Ananda means unbridled, limitless joy. One is already limitless joy, and then that is discovered through the process of this understanding, and because of that, what happens? One is exuding that calmness and that joy. Otherwise, the teaching is not effective. For the teaching to touch the heart, that tranquility must be there, and then that joy must be there. And it can be, some days, it can be like a roaring ocean. The jnani is like an ocean, a roaring ocean, making lot of noise and crashing with waves and just jumping up and down. Acceptable, no problem. Some days the jnani is like a quiet ocean. Either way, what? Limitless. That limitlessness is just exuding from every pore. Otherwise, the knowledge of the self is a big bore. That's what happens. So, therefore here, perhaps that's why he was laughing. He was laughing for, as though smiling, for the same reason that Lord Dakshinamurti is smiling. Lord Dakshinamurti is called Ishadhasaha, the one with a slight smile. And that's kind of pleasant to see. Nobody is, depicting Lord Dakshinamurti as ha 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 laughing. That would be kind of disconcerting. But here, that small smile is got one more, a very deep meaning, in the sense that all your problems are ultimately laughable. This is the final meaning. All your problems are not really there. They are not there at all. What are you crying about? Why are you laughing? Why are you crying? Tell me that first. Then I'll tell you why I'm laughing. So like this, the very beautiful. So he says, Prahasan iva bharata. And then what does he do? Senayor ubhayor madhye. So where he had pulled the, what is it called? Ratha. What is Ratha? Chariot. Where he had pulled the chariot in between the two armies, he keeps it right there. He doesn't say, come on, let's go to a quiet place away from these arrows and let us just, you and me, have a tete-a-tete. No. He keeps it right there in the din of the kettle drums and the whizzing arrows and all kinds of missiles. Right there the teaching has to take place. No other place is there for the teaching, because the heart is always a battlefield between what is right, what is wrong, what is dharma, what is adharma, what is to be done, karyam, and what is not to be done, akaryam. There is always this conflict, because life does not come with we think the life does not come with an instruction booklet. When the baby is born, one small instruction booklet doesn't come. Yeah. Like washing machine, when you buy, instruction booklet comes. When the baby born, no instruction booklet. So therefore, negotiating these various things takes a kind of a mental framework, a kind of an infrastructure which is able to take the teachings even if somebody laughs at one's own cost. In fact, the better response is to start laughing at our own foolishness ourselves. We start doing the prahasanam, we start laughing at ourselves, and then when other people laugh at us, it's okay. We don't feel so bad. This is kind of nice. This is one way to tackle the ahankara. Okay, now, verses 1 to 10 in chapter 2 have this is the conclusion of one topic. And so what is this topic? The topic is the Arjuna's epiphany and Guru Upasadanam, approaching the teacher for that which cannot be resolved within oneself by oneself. This is the first topic of the chapter. Now let us see. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashocyananvashocastvam Prajñavadamscha bhashase Gatasu nagatasumscha Nanushocanti panditaha. Yeah. So, he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Lord Krishna said unto this person with a smile. From the 11th chapter, the 11th verse of the second chapter, the teaching begins. Up till now was just the setup and the events that led to the teaching. That's why Adi Shankara, in writing the commentary, skips the entire first chapter and the first 10 verses of the second chapter, and then starts his bhashya from the 11th verse. The Lord said, what did the Lord say? Ashocyan, ashochyah, na shoka yogyah, ashochyah, na shocyah, na shoka yogyah. That which is not worthy of being grieved is called ashocya. Ashocyan, all these things, plural, ashocyan, all these ashocya things that are not worthy of being grieved, what are you doing, Arjuna? You are sitting and crying over them. Anvashocastvam. Anu ashocastvam. So, you are following the train of thought and making yourself sadder and sadder and sadder. The problem here is simple. You are grieving over that which does not deserve grief. Yet, prajñavadamscha bhashase. Yet you are talking like a pandit. You are talking like a pandit without being a pandit. That's the point here. If you talk like a pandit and you are a pandit, no problem. You are talking like a pandit, but you are not a pandit. Your what is that? Your reactions, your words don't have pandityam, panditasya bhava. What is the meaning of pandit? Pandaha asya asti iti. Panda means self-knowledge. So the one who has panda is called pandit. Self-knowledge is called pandit. Now it is used loosely. Even a music teacher is called pandit. Musician, dancer is also called pandit. Somebody in some fine arts also called pandit. Somebody who knows how to recite Veda is also called what? Pandit. Technically, that's not correct. Panda means self-knowledge. The one who has self-knowledge is a pandit. You are talking like as though you know a lot, but you are not behaving like that. Because when the words come out of your mouth, I see that you are just displaying what? Ignorance. Nothing but ignorance. Prajnavadamscha bhashase means you are talking very lofty things. You are articulating supposedly lofty thoughts. Like what? Oh, we are accountable for our actions, and if we don't act like this, then we will go to Naraka, and then all the ancestors will be deprived of their offerings, and the women will be husbandless, the children will be fatherless, and the society will be cast into chaos. All these seem very logical. They are full sentences, they seem very logical, they seem very, what should I say, erudite, learned. But then, what is happening here? Nothing is happening. That's the problem. Yeah. And why? Because he gives the definition of the Pandit in the second line. Gatasun, agatasunscha na anushochanti Panditaha. Let's just take it simply here. Panditaha na anushochanti. The real Panditas do not grieve. Grieve after. Grieve after what? Two kinds of things. Krishna divides the world into two kinds of people. One he calls Gata Savaha, and the other one Agata Savaha. Asu means breath. Nirgataha asavaha yasmat gatasavaha. Gatasavaha, gatasun means that gatasun, second case, gatasavaha means those from whom the breath has departed. What does that mean? Dead people, yeah. And then what should be the next category? He doesn't say that. He says, agata savaha. Listen to this carefully. So from whom the breath is yet to depart. See how beautiful it is? So the whole world is divided into two. One is Ram Naam Satya Hai. Bye bye. Tata. Meaning the breath has already gone. You hold a mirror under the nose, that's what they used to do. Hold a mirror under the nose, no condensation takes place. Finished, gone. And then the other one, you hold a mirror under the nose, condensation is taking place, but we don't know for how long. This is an objective way. Don't think it's a morbid way. Oh, how morbid. Lord Krishna divided the world into dead people and yet to die people. So sad. Is this what all Vedanta is about? I don't want to study this bad news Vedanta all the time. I want Ananda. But look at the beauty of it. It's a very objective definition of this universe. This universe is full of people, some of whom are no longer breathing, and then some of whom will stop breathing at some point, sooner or later. Simple. This is Vairagya. This is an objective look at the universe. We think of it as morbid and we are alarmed when the first verse that is giving the teaching is going to this kind of depths and oh my God, OMG, what is the rest of the Gita is going to be like? Let's close the book right now. No, give it a chance. Look at the beauty here. Look at the objectivity. The objectivity is to show two things here. The way it is framed is to show two important things. First is we have a we means all the people in the universe generally have a shobhana adhyasa towards life and the living. We think life and living is good and death bad. In our minds, that's all it is. This is what is so the first thing, Lord Krishna does is put us in a headstand. Yeah. Ulta. Hang it upside down. Headstand in any way is good, because there is we promote all asanas where blood flow to the head takes place, because clear thinking will come. So, we give too much truck, too much importance to life and death. And Arjuna is already in the grip of sorrow. Why? Because he is obsessed about death. He thinks death is the end. He thinks death. He is always really worrying about death, killing those people. Those people are not going to be there. When they are not going to be there, I have no point in living. If they die, I also want to die. I am not making all this up. We have seen all these things. From verse 1 from chapter 1 to beginning of chapter 2. Even if you don't remember, I remember. We have seen all these things. So therefore, it's not that Lord Krishna is being morbid and starting this teaching, this wonderful sacred teaching on a morbid note. No, far from it. There is no morbidity here. Who is morbid? Arjuna is morbid. Arjuna is not only morbid, he is fixated on the topic of Maranam. And he says, death is better for me. I want death more than kingdom. Why? Because the kingdom has to be enjoyed along with other people. And those people, where are they? They are going to die. And if they are dead, I also want to be dead. Who is morbid now? Arjuna is morbid. You can't call Lord Krishna morbid. Lord Krishna is meeting him where he is. And he says, no, my boy, this is not the way to look at the world. Look at it objectively. And what is the objective look about this? Whatever is born has to die. This is a law of nature. Prakriti's law, Ishvara's law, it's the law of nature. That which is subject to birth is subject to death. Simple. We see that. Even with the person who says, oh, I am not going to die. One guru said that. Guru, okay, yeah. So one God man, self-styled God man said, I am not going to die. I am never going to die. And then few years later, he was dead. So this is all, this kind of a posturing shows that the incompleteness and insecurity which brought one to this path perhaps has not departed. One has not taken this seriously. And so here, the most objective way and an instant, instant way to come out of the sorrow. When you truly come out of the, toxic relationships, the dysfunctional relationships based on obligation, based on this, based on that, based on past life, based on God knows what else. You see that death is not such a bad thing. Death is simply an end of life. That's all it is. End of a process called life. And in fact, it can be very beautiful. These days, because of medical advances and everything, we have all forgotten how to die. Yeah, with pipes and what else, medicines, pipes and pills and potions and all these things. You keep stretching. The life of the person who is on a stretcher. That's why it's called stretcher, because you keep stretching their life. And in the West, this has taken on terrible proportions. Even if you sign one, what is that called? DNR, do not resuscitate. And one man had tattooed it on his chest. Yeah. Do not resuscitate. He had put a tattoo because he was afraid that nobody will listen to him. Even though he has put it legally on the paper, signed, stamped, sealed, delivered, everything. Still people will, the relatives will keep saying, one more day on the what is that called? Ventilator, yes. One more day on the ventilator. Let's see if they come back. One more time on this, one more time. We have forgotten how to die. We think it's a horrible thing. And our own projection about death being a horrible thing, we are projecting over the person who is about to depart from the world, our own fears, our own judgments, our own pain, our own sorrow. It is nothing to do with maintaining the dignity of the person who is undergoing this, and let them just go smoothly without much intervention, let them just happily leave. I'm not saying one has to go and off them. No, that's not the point. You just allow them to go when Bhagavan's time is there. Sometimes you don't know, sometimes the person is very lucky, goes in the sleep, no problem at all. Sometimes they're just sitting reading the newspaper and then gone. Very lucky. Sometimes the signs are imminent. They stop eating, they stop drinking. This is nature's way of saying, okay, enough. And then they stop recognizing people. Chandogya describes all these stages of death in the 6th chapter. Jnatayaha, all the relatives assemble. Janasi mam, Janasi mam, Janasi mam. Each one asks, do you know me? Do you know me? Do you know me? Visibly to ascertain what? Whether the person is of sound mind. And then also perhaps to make sure that they will have a share of the property. Do you know me? Me? When I visited last, I gave you water. Do you know me? So, like this, they have, we have forgotten, we have just taken the medical, the medicine is wonderful. It should be a tool. It can even be a tool to prolong life when such a prolongation is warranted. Sometimes it is warranted. Maybe because of this surgery, the person can have 5 more years of what? A good quality of life. Then yes, it is warranted. Chemotherapy warranted, radiation warranted, everything is warranted. But in the case of somebody who is already elderly, already bedridden, is this warranted? We just have taken leave of our senses. And it looks like it wasn't much better in Arjuna's time either, because Arjuna had put such a premium over life and is morbidly afraid of death. That's why the teacher in the form of Bhagavan Krishna corrects his perception in just one verse. Gatasun, with respect to people that have departed, people that have stopped breathing, and with respect to people who are going to stop breathing, the Pandita, the true Pandita, does not have grief. Easier said than done. In fact, this is what is called Mahapratignya, a thesis statement. A thesis statement which is a small kernel. A kernel means a little, precise form it is put, and we don't have to worry because the rest of the Gita is going to unfold this one statement until Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyah Mokshaishyami Ma Ashuchaha. See, from this shoka to that shoka. Here, Ashocyananva shochastvam. You are grieving over this. The same topic of grief is maintained from the beginning to the end. It is so brilliant. The layout of the Bhagavad Gita is genius. Just absolutely fascinating. So flawless, so brilliant. It's just amazing. So here he says, you are talking like a Pandita. The empty words of a Pandita talking of individual and social responsibility, accountability. What else are you talking about? Naraka, Punya, Papa, all this you are talking about. But you don't define, you don't come under the definition of a Pandita. Why? What does the Pandita do? The Pandita is the same with regard to a dead person or a living person, no matter who the person is. That is the sign of Atmajnanam. Sign of Atmajnanam is that. It's not Stoicism. It's not Stoicism at all. It doesn't mean you can't be happy or can't, some shadow of sadness may pass on the face. That is all okay. A beautiful story is told about Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. And he was waiting for news that one of his devotees was going to give birth. Then suddenly the news came, she has given birth to a baby. Oh! And Ramana Maharshi, who was always silently sitting, he is supposed to have just gone like this and clapped. 45 minutes later, a sad news came that she and the child both somehow perished. She has perished in, don't know about the child, but she has perished in childbirth. And he just became still, and one tear fell from one eye. So, this is just akartritvam, inaction, really. Non-action, inaction. Yeah. So, whatever the body-mind sense complex had, whatever reaction, it does not touch the person. The person is not sad. The person is not angry. The person is not afraid of death or whatever it is. So, like this. So, na anushochanti panditaha. The panditas do not the panditas do not grieve. Natve vahanjatu nasam natvan Tve vahanjatu nasan natvanne me janadipaha na jaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. So how? Then the next verse, the teaching has already begun. Now there will just be a monologue from Lord Krishna for quite some time. So Lord Krishna says, how come the Pandita, the true Pandita, is not subject to grief? How come? Well, the answer is very, 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 very clear. Why is the answer very clear? Because they know the truth of the self. And what is the truth of the self? It is neither born nor is it dead. It is neither breathing to begin with for it to stop breathing. It is something which is witnessing people coming and going. That I is not this conglomeration of the body-mind sense complex. This I is who? This I is that who is the observer of everything. So then he says to Arjuna, Natu eva aham jatu na asam natvam na ime janadhipaha. There was never a time that I was not existing. I, the Atma now, not the I connected to the body-mind sense complex ahankara I. The Atma, this Atma, there was never a time that it did not exist. That's why there is no grief. Because it's always there. I'm always there. And then he is going to say in many bodies, the same I comes again and again. No problem. Always there. I was always there. You were always there. And these Janadhipas, these kings who were standing on the battlefield, they were also what? Always there. How come everybody is always there? Because the I in you, the I in me, and the I in them is what? One I. There's only one I, singular. See, everything can be pluralized. You all, you can say. He, she, it, they. But I is always I. And so, this I, which is always singular, which is always there, this is how it is. There was, and then, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha, meaning, even in the future, after this battle is over, and the battle will leave what? A blood-stained battlefield, full of disembodied parts of the soldiers, disembodied body parts of the soldiers, even though the battlefield will leave in its wake, what will happen? It is still, they have not gone anywhere. Oh, but I see the dead body there. Yes, you are right. What do you see? Is simply a dead body. What dies? Body died. Yeah. That's why whenever you look at the dead body in any religion, you say departed. Another word for dead is what? Departed. Means I have vacated this house. In fact, nobody vacates on their own volition. I have been evicted from this body by Bhagavan. Bhagavan gave eviction notice that this body, you have stayed in it for a long time, or whatever number of years you have stayed in it, bye-bye. Eviction notice has come. And the eviction notice doesn't go to the ahankara. No, because then the ahankara will tear up the eviction notice and say, no, I am a squatter. I am going to stay here only. What are you going to do? The ahankara will not vacate the body. Therefore, the vacating of the body, the portfolio of vacating the body is given to prana. Which prana? Don't say respiration, because they can have ventilator, artificial lungs, useless. Bhagavan knew, even before ventilator was discovered, Bhagavan knew that prana cannot be the custodian of the eviction notice. So, one Vayu called Udana Vayu is given the job of making the eviction notice a reality. Making this eviction notice a reality. What does Udana Vayu do? It just keeps count. Of what? Each time you breathe, it counts. Breathe in, breathe out. Oh, life suddenly got shorter. Why? Why did life get shorter? Because we come to this world not with an assigned number of years, but with an allotted number of breaths. That's why never hyperventilate. If you go, you're shortening the life. And all the animals you see who go, their lives are much shorter than human beings, aren't they? Rabbit, dog, cat, they all breathe much faster. Yeah. This shows that Udana Vayu is a real thing. And this Udana Vayu, and when the last breath has been used up, what does it do? It tells the other pranas, come on boys, we have to vacate. This is what it does. This is the trick. So, what has died? Body died. That's why you say vacated, evicted, departed, whatever word you use. Meaning that person is not here. Nobody says that person is not there at all. Even in other religions, we say, okay, they are somewhere. They believe they are in, what is that called? Heaven, afterlife, something or the other. Nobody comes to an end. This much is there. And so here, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna pretty much the same teaching, very beautiful teaching here. Wait a minute, they are all not going anywhere. They are not, I am also not going anywhere. You are also not going anywhere. And by the I, we have to understand where the I is placed. The I is placed firmly in the knowledge, I am this Brahman. Birthless Brahman. Deathless Brahman. Okay? And then easier said than done. If you say, see this verse one time, is everybody getting the understanding? No. One is still subject to sorrow, one is still afraid of death. So therefore we have to keep reading, keep chanting. Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumarai yauvananjara Tatha dehantara praptihi Dhirastatra na muhyati Matra sparshastu kaunteya Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha Agama apahino nityaha Tanti tikshasva bharata Yam hi navyathayantyete Purusham purusharshabha Samadukha sukham dhiram Somritatvaya kalpate. Yeah. So he gives an example in verse number 13 to exemplify how come I'm the same. How come there was never a time I did not exist? What is the proof for that? Just as the same body, there are different states of existence. You can show me a photo of you, and you means anybody, Somebody can show me a photo, now they are 92, and they show me a photo of themselves at 2 months. And what do they say? This is me. And what do I say? I can see the similarity. That time also you had no hair, no teeth. Now also. So, Dehinaha, this is a very important word. Dehin means inside the Deha. Deha plus in, okay, yeah. Like Vedant in, one who is into Vedanta. So, Dehinaha asmin Dehinaha. Dehin means the indweller of the body. Just like the indweller of the body, with regard to the body, yatha dehe, then there are different things they observe. Long ago I was a child, I was playing. Look, here in this photo I was crying. Look, here I was jumping. This is all me that was then. And then now, this is a different stage of my life. I am young, I am jumping around, I am doing all kinds of things, I am at the university, I am getting an award. This is me. This also what you claim? Me. The child also what you claimed? Me. And the old age, that also with reluctance you claim as me. Not happily, but with a little disgruntlement, you claim as, yeah, me, look at me now, all those wonderful days are gone, now this is me. Yeah. So how in the same body you attain these three states? Similarly, tatha, in the same way, dehantara praptihi api, in the same way you can attain one more body. That same you is not going anywhere. Here, this whole idea of reincarnation is talked about as a way to understand Vedanta. This is called Shruti Anukula Yuktihi. Shruti Anukula Yuktihi. A logic that helps me to assimilate these teachings. So, just like in the same body, you have various stages. That time I was young, and then this later time I was sick. This time I was like this. It's all I, with regard to the body, mind, sense complex. And similarly, in the same way, just like within one body there can be different stages, there can also be the same I in and through many, many bodies. In and through many, many bodies, the same I subsists. And therefore, with reference to that, the person dhiraha. Dhiraha means a person of knowledge is called dhiraha. Dhi means buddhi. Dhihi rati dadati iti dhiraha. The one who is able to give, share some of the knowledge. They know so much that they are able to share. Oh, even I am able to share. Yeah, but who is willing to listen? That's the question. Yeah. They are able to share and people are ready to listen. That should be the thing. So that is called dhira. Dhira namuhyati. The dhira doesn't come under the spell. Why does the dhira doesn't come under the spell? Because the person who is dhira has already understood the ephemeral quality of this jagat. Ephemeral means ever changing. Now this, now that. Matra and sparsha, the sense organs and sense objects. Like what? What do they say? Now hot. Oh, take out the jacket. Now hot. Oh, as soon as I take out the jacket, cold, cold, cold. Wear the jacket again. Shita, Ushna. Opposites. Because the sense organs, what do? The sense organs inform, they just report. Now it is hot, now it is cold, now it is comfortable, now it is uncomfortable. And so this will be there all the time. Shita, and they will all be opposites. Sukha, dukkha. Sukha means sorrow. Yes? No. Okay. Sukha means what? Happiness. Dukkha, sorrow. Hot, cold. Ushna, Shita. And then what else? Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. Good, bad, all these things. Comfortable, uncomfortable. All these things are in the Jagat. As soon as one is born, one understands that the hallmark of the Jagat is pairs of opposites. All kinds of opposites. And then, what does the dhira understand? Agama payinaha, nityaha. Nityaha means it's not today it is full of opposites, tomorrow it will level off. No, tomorrow also what will this jagat be? Full of opposites. It's an impossible jagat. Impossible jagat means it's not possible for me to order the jagat how I want. That is why it's called an impossible jagat. Okay? So, this kind of a jagat, yesterday how it was? Pairs of opposites. Today how it is? Pairs of opposites. Tomorrow, ditto. Same. And the dhira recognizes they are agama payinaha. Agama and apayi. Agama means that which comes, agacchati, and then apayin means that which is subject to arrival and departure. So now everybody is saying so cold, so cold, so cold. Oh no, this January course, oh so cold, so cold, so cold, so cold, so cold. And then in another 15 days, oh, so hot, so hot, so hot, so hot, so hot. This is how it is. Agama payinaha, and what are they? Anityaha. They are always on the, they're always, you cannot categorize them anyway. They're not long-standing. They're not permanent, thank God. You complain, hot, 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 hot. I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold. It just lasts for a few minutes. No, it's not for a few minutes, for a few days. Okay, few days. Doesn't matter. So the Dhira is the one who knows this. And what should you do? In order to become a Dhira, you have to have Titiksha. What is Titiksha? Forbearance. Forbearance. Willingly to bear it. Why? Because if something you can do, please do. Oh, I have AC in my room. Okay, turn it on. No problem. Oh, but I don't have AC in my room. Okay. That's also okay. Agamapayinaha anityaha. And the best thing to do with all these opposites is to observe them. Tan titikshasva. He Bharata. Bharata, this, the jewel, the foremost in the line of the Bharata clan. He Bharata, tan titikshasva. It's not enough to occupy the Bharata clan and be known as a warrior. Bring out your inner warrior and have some titiksha here. You have to observe these things. And then the knowledgeable person is that the one who is not afflicted. Yam hi na vyathayanti ete. Ete means these pairs of opposites. Yam purusham, for which person? Purusha here is not man. Because in Hindi we think Purush means man. No. Purusha, person. The one who is the indweller of this body-mind-sense complex. Purusha. And yam hina vyathayanti ete. Purusham, yam purusham ete. Ete means these two opposites. Na vyathayanti. The one who does not get afflicted by this. And he addresses Arjuna as Purusharshabha. Purushanam Rishabha. A bull among men. Literally, Arjuna is a bull? No. He's neither a bull nor a bully. What is that here? He's brave, that's what. Lord Krishna is trolling him. Yes, you have all these hallmarks of bravery. Show this inner bravery. How? Sama dukkha sukham. Have equanimity with regard to the sukha and dukkha. And only that person is ready for this knowledge. Saha amritatvaya kalpate. For this knowledge of oneself as immortal, that is the person who is ready. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.